Guys, it's Kwana, and I wanted to come to you with my top 10 most anticipated movies for 2025. If you're like me, you kind of like to plan your year a little ahead and know what movies are coming out. There are a lot of movies coming out. Some creators that I follow, some film critics that I follow, have watched upwards of like 150 or more movies this past year alone. I definitely have not watched that many movies. I clocked somewhere at around 78 on Letterboxd, which you can also follow me on my Letterboxd account. I do try to keep a log on there and also do some short reviews on there. But I don't clock all of the movies that I watch in any given year. I don't clock a lot of the holiday related movies, because a lot of times around the holidays I'll watch a series of movies to kind of get in the mood for that holiday. So I've probably watched maybe close to 100, but there are definitely people who are clocking in at 175, 200, 300 movies, maybe more. There are film critics that I follow who go to see 2, 3, 4 movies at the theater each week. Definitely not living that life. Have a full-time job over here. So I felt like this was a nice sizable offering of movies and a very eclectic offering of movies that I could bring you that I think are movies to be on the lookout for in the upcoming year. So without further ado, let's get into my top 10 list. My number one, this is not really in any particular order, but the first movie that I thought about when I sat down to script this video was Sinners. This movie is directed by Ryan Coogler, and it's kind of birthed out of a collaboration between him and his longtime collaborator Michael B. Jordan, who also stars in the movie. We don't know much about the movie. A trailer did drop for the movie, and basically all we've managed to get from it, it's somewhere between post-war, War One, maybe World War II. It's really hard to pin down the era in which the film is supposed to be taking place. But it's somewhere at the beginning of the 20th century, and there are Black people and there are vampires. And that is all we know. Just from the look of the trailer, it gives very much Lovecraft Country. And I, for one, suspect that out of the collaboration and just the rapport that Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors had with one another following Creed and during the Creed press run, that this movie was initially planning to have him in the role as the character's brother. And then when everything happened with Jonathan Majors, I think he wasn't in that movie. I could be wrong. That is just my suspicion. But we do know that Michael B. Jordan will be playing dual characters in this film. I'm very excited about it. You pretty much had me at Black people and vampires. The next movie on my list is The Electric State. The trailer for this ran during the Netflix Christmas Day football games, or as we all know it to be, the Beyonce Bowl. I do know that it stars Millie Bobby Brown. So we love 11 over here. It's also got Ke Huy Quan from The Goonies and Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm loving how Hollywood has re-embraced him. I'm hoping that, he gets to have this very authentic and organic role as leading characters back as being an action star, because I don't want him to feel like he's being tokenized, because I grew up loving this man so much, and it's just so good to see him kind of get his flowers and get a chance to shine. It's also got Chris Pratt in it. We're just going to pretend like he's not there. But it's something with regards to robots and androids and relationships with humans. It was giving very much WALL-E. And the robots look kind of spooky and uncanny valley-ish, but I'm here for it. I'm here for a good sci-fi flick. The next one on this list is going to be kind of a shocker, and I would guarantee that you probably will not hear anyone else. I'm going to say this now. You will not hear anyone else on the internet say that they are excited for this movie. But I am not going to hide it. Those of you who have been on my channel know that I am a self-proclaimed Disney adult. I love Disney. It is my happiest place on earth. And so I'm really excited for Snow White, the live action. I don't love all of the Disney live actions, I'll be honest. And even as an Emma Watson fan and as a Harry Potter fan, I did not love Beauty and the Beast. It just did not give Belle in the way that I wanted to. However, I loved The Little Mermaid, okay? Did I think the colors could have been a bit brighter? Yes, but I really, really, really love Halle Bailey first and foremost. I loved her take on the character of Ariel. Ariel was my favorite princess. And I loved that it kind of gave like Baby Bridgerton vibes, like starter kit for young people. I love that. That said, despite the incredible backlash that Rachel Zegler has faced in getting this role as a Latina woman, she looks like Snow White. First and foremost, let's just say that. She looks like Snow White. She sounds like a Disney princess. I'm excited to see what they do with the character. I rewatched Snow White, the animated version, about 2 years ago for one of my film and literature classes that I was teaching. I introduced it because it is the first full-length Disney animated feature film. It really should have been the first to get a live-action adaptation, if we're going to be completely honest. But I will just chalk that up to the universe knowing that it was waiting for Rachel to take on this role. And it's a pretty boring movie, like with the exception of when she finally gets to the dwarf's house and cleans up the house. The movie is not very good by today's standards. So I, for one, think that this is actually one of the few Disney animated films that needed a fresh breath of life. It doesn't take away what Disney was able to accomplish in 1938 when the first one came out as being the first full-length Disney animated film, but the story itself, it needed a revitalization. I don't love Gal Gadot as an actress. I do feel like I wish they had gotten someone else to play that character, but we know that she is beautiful. I'm looking forward to seeing if she is able to bring more to the table, because with the exception of maybe her first 2 runs as Wonder Woman, I've not been a fan of her acting. So I'm interested to see, but I'm here for Rachel. The next movie on my list is Now You See Me 3. I love a good magical based film. I'm a sometimey heist girly, but you give me magic in a movie and I'm sat. I really enjoyed the first 2 Now You See Me's. I'm excited to see this cast come back together again. I'm just here for a good time. The release date for this one is November 14th. I didn't mention it, but Sinners comes out April 18th and Electric State comes out on Netflix on March 14th. The next movie on my list that came to mind was the Michael biopic, or biopic, depending on your pronunciation of that word. It is directed by Antoine Fuqua and it stars Coleman Domingo and Nia Long as Joe Jackson and Catherine Jackson. That alone, I do appreciate that they casted Michael's cousin, his nephew, to play him. I hope that he was able to do a good job. I trust Antoine Fuqua as a director to help that young man bring Michael to life as much as possible in a respectful way, because if we're being honest, none of the Michael Jackson movies, with the exception of Jackson's The American Dream, have been respectful to Michael Jackson. And as someone who loves his artistry and loves Michael Jackson and cried hysterically when he passed, I'm just here to see people give him his just, dues in regards to bringing that character to life, especially in the latter years. So I am here for it. Plus, Coleman is just going to rock the red carpet. Can we just say that? That comes out October 3rd. So that's a nice little early birthday present for me. The next on my list is The Bride. This is an adaptation of Frankenstein through the perspective, or through the focal point, of Frankenstein's bride. It'll be interesting to see what happens, because The Bride never really comes to fruition in the actual book. And as someone who teaches English, I teach that book almost yearly. Even if there's some classes where I don't get to it, there's always at least one point or one semester where I am able to fully teach that book. And it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see an adaptation of it from the perspective of a female director, because I believe this will be the first that actually does it from the perspective of a female director. Maggie Gyllenhaal will be directing it. It also stars Christian Bale. So that comes out September 26th. The next is Him. This is a Jordan Peele psychological thriller. It's going to be starring Marlon Wayans. It's slated to come out sometime in September. We don't know much about it, except for the fact that I think the characters involved are somehow related to sports. My guess would be basketball, but I'm not 100% certain. But I am such a fan of Marlon Wayans as a dramatic actor. I've never really loved Marlon as a comedic actor because his comedy style was always very uncomfortable to me. I don't really care for his type of humor. In terms of the Wayans, he's not my favorite. Damon or even Keenan are my favorites. But as a dramatic actor, that young man, he's older than me, is talented. And I first knew it when he was in Requiem for a Dream. So I'm excited to see what he does in this film. I really, really hope, fingers crossed, that they stay and give us serious and not parody. I'm really hoping for that. The next film on my list is a Pharrell Williams film. It is a coming of age story. It's called Atlantis. If you didn't get a chance to see the Lego biopic of Pharrell Williams called Piece by Piece, I would encourage you to watch it. My family really enjoyed it. I feel like it was highly underrated and not talked about last year. But this film in particular, it's set in, of course, his hometown of Virginia Beach. It's going to be starring Halle Bailey. It's got Missy Elliott. It's got a lot of his longtime collaborators either contributing in some way to the film. I'm super, super excited to see it. It's a period piece set in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. So looking forward to it. We don't have enough Black coming of age stories. The next is an animated film. For all the people who bemoan that we don't get enough original animation films, this one is called Sneaks. It's got some incredible voice actors attached to this project. You've got Lawrence Fishburne, Keith David, you've got Anthony Mackie attached to it, Chloe Bailey. Mustard, okay, is attached to this film. I am super, super excited about it. It's a film about talking sneakers. I'm not a sneakerhead, but this might encourage me to go out and get some new sneakers. And this is set to come out April 18th. And the last on my list is The Woman in the Yard. This is another psychological thriller, psychological horror film. It's going to be starring Danielle Deadwyler, who is vastly hitting my top 5 of actresses that I will watch anything that she's in. It's pretty much Viola Davis, Anjanou Ellis-Taylor, Danielle Deadwyler, Angela Bassett. There's like a collection, Meryl Streep, a collection of actresses that I am collecting like infinity stones, and she is one of them. I don't know much about this movie, although I do know that it's based on a novel, if I'm not mistaken. So I might read the novel in advance of this, but I don't know because it's a horror movie, so I want to be shocked and surprised. So maybe I'll read the novel after the film comes out, but it's slated to come out March 28th. She's been on an incredible run, and so I'm really super excited about this movie. So hopefully I've given you something to add to your list of movies to watch in the upcoming year. Hopefully, fingers crossed, all of these movies will make their 2025 release dates and not get pushed back like Mickey 17, which we will discuss later because it was going to be on my list, but it keeps getting pushed back. And so because of that, I just don't even know when that movie is coming out. So honorable mention for Mickey 17, which stars, oh my gosh, what's that boy's name? Robert Pattinson. Took me forever to think of Rob Pattinson's name. Okay, but those are my 10 movies that I'm looking forward to in this year. But let me know down in the comments below what you might be looking forward to this year. And I will see you guys in the next video. Toodles.